We'll begin with knight f3, the ready opening with c4, preparing to attack the center. We'll take the knight to c3, and this is black's turn, where black is thinking for the response. So black responds with bishop b4, and we take d3. Now d3 not allowing this pawn to be moved further. Over here, d6 was the response. So we continue with g3, preparing to develop the bishop and castling at the same time. So over here, bishop comes to g4, and we respond with bishop g2. Okay, so black plays queen f6. We'll castle, maintain the king's safety. Now black is having 9 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, and he go with knight g7. We'll take the knight to e4 and attack the queen. The queen is under attack. Now let's see how he responds. He go with queen g6. So we'll take the knight x4 and attack the queen. Now this queen is under attack. Let's see how he responds. Okay, so now queen comes to h5, where we decide to go with f3 in attacking the bishop. Now this bishop is under attack. So black should defend the bishop by taking it back to e6. We prefer to take the bishop out to g5 in defending this knight, and we can play g4 and trap the queen. So that will be a queen trap. Okay, now this is black's turn, and black is having 8 minutes and 49 seconds on the clock. Now let's see how black responds. In such positions, we can go with some forcing moves like bishop c5, trying to give check, where we can take the king h8, king h1. Anyways, so this is black's turn, and now black is thinking for the response, having 8 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock. Let's see how he responds over here. Hmm. Okay. Alright, so now over here, black is thinking for the response. In such positions, black's queen is not having any escape. What he can try is, he can try this so that he can play the queen back. This means f6. When I try this, then he can take the queen back. Ultimately, I have to secure our bishop by taking it back. So playing f6 can be a possible response over here. Okay, now black is now thinking for the response. In this position, playing f6 is an easy response. Otherwise, in order to block g4 threat, he's only having this variation to do that. Already g4 is dependent by the bishop, so he can just sacrifice the bishop and repeat. Anyways, so black resigns the game. Now we'll continue with another game, and this time we are playing as black. So e4, where we go with e6, the French defense, and then d5. We go with e5, we'll play c5 and attack the pawn. Knight comes to f3, we'll take the knight c6. Bishop b5, now he's creating a pin. So in this position, we'll capture the pawn. White capture it back from the knight. Okay, so now white is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds. 9 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds. We go with queen take d4, where we go with queen to a5, going check, attacking this bishop, and then bishop d7, blocking this pin. He captured from the bishop, where we capture from the bishop, so that we can keep the bishop being active, and then take the bishop to c5, attacking the queen. Now this queen is under attack. So he played queen g4 and we have to defend this pawn. So we'll go with g6. Now we have successfully secured the pawn. We can anytime play knight e7 just castle because king safety is very important. Okay. So this is white's turn and white is now thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds. In such positions, what we can do is we can go with queen back because queen to b6 will be keeping an attack towards this pawn. This means that he cannot develop the bishop because the bishop is securing this pawn. This means queen b6 is very important. Okay, 8 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. And now white is thinking. Let's see how he responds. Over here, this is white's turn. And in such cases, you can go with a3, b4, trying to attack, like creating a pin. So a3 is also a possible response. And he go with knight d4. So knight comes to d4 trying to attack this bishop. So we need to secure our pieces. Okay, we'll go with knight to e7. Development of knight and securing this. If we take it, then knight can capture it back. This means we are just making a development move. So this is the white's turn. Let's see how white responds. In such positions, he can go with bishop. We play bishop x6. So bishop x6. Now this is a mistake because we can't capture the knight. Queen will capture it. Then knight can come to f5 and attack. So this is going to be an making attack towards. Okay. So now white is thinking for the move. He go with queen take d4. Will respond with knight f5, attack the bishop, the queen, both at the same time. This means he can play the queen here. So he go with queen f4. Now queen f4 was the response. In this position, we can easily capture it. So we'll go with d4 and attack the knight. Now this knight is under attack. Let's see how he responds. And then we'll act according to it. This knight can go back. Okay, knight goes to e2. We can play bishop here and attack like this. Anyways, so we'll just capture this bishop. Now he captured it back. Where in this position we can capture this pawn. So this is white's turn. Now we are attacking this knight. This means he can play any of the rooks and secure the knight. Or he can, okay, he play rook e1. Then we go with queen to d5, threatening the mate in one move. So now let's see what is from. We must secure this checkmate, right? Thus he can go with knight. Okay, he can play knight to f4, securing the mate and attacking the queen. So in this position, easily we can go with queen to f5 and we can attack this pawn. Anytime we can play this rook to d8 and secure this pawn. Now long castling is also a possible move. We can make the king safe behind these two pawns. Anyways, the queen over here is not allowing us to castle and that's the main problem. So he go with queen to g7, giving up this knight. Okay, we cannot give up this rook, so we'll go with rook to g8. Now he cannot capture it, otherwise the knight is gone. This means he can to play queen h6. Now with queen h6, he can secure the knight once again. Otherwise, he can take the knight back, and that's possible. So he go with queen take d4. Then we can go with rook to d8 and attack the queen. So over here, we can go back and secure it. That's a possible move. If we try this, then we can easily capture this pawn. So queen coming here, we can capture this pawn. Anyways, now white cannot capture this pawn. Okay, so he go with queen e3. Now over here, we can go with queen capturing the pawn. We can also capture our pawn. Now if we try this, then we can capture this pawn. Okay, so white is now thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds. White is thinking over here. He can go with. Alright. This pawn is under attack, so he must secure the pawn first, and then he can plan to attack to us our pawn. Now, if we try b3, then easily we can push the pawn one step forward and secure it. So we can consider he's not going to play something like b3. Now over here, our king is not very safe, so it is going to be easy for white to counter attack with a knight. He can take this knight back. We go with b3, okay, as I told. So b3 was the response. We'll go with a6, and now we also protect our pawn. He takes the knight to h3. Now knight comes to h3, where we can take the rook to d3 and attack the queen. So the queen is under attack, where white is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds over here. He go with queen e5. Now queen e5 was the response, where in this position the rook goes to d5, and now we attack the queen. So he go with queen check. Then easily we can go with king to e7. The rook is attacking the queen. So if he tries queen to c7, then we can go the rook back and attack. So we go with knight f4. Alright, so he resigns. The queen was hanging. That's why he resigns the game. Okay, so we look for another game. And this time we are playing as black. So white's down. Now white is thinking for the move. Okay, he go with e4, the king's pawn opening, activating the bishop and the queen. So over here we go with the pop defense b6. b6 is a very powerful opening that you can try against e4. Knight f3, so knight f3. Then we go with the knight f6 and attack this pawn, making white to play knight c3, and then we go with g6, focusing on our development of bishop, preparing to castle. So now white is thinking easily he can take the control of the center. We go with bishop c4, then we go with bishop g7, preparing to castle, and he can go with d4. Okay, so we go with castling. We'll go with castling and then d4. h3 was the response. So now over here, what we can do is we'll go with c6, b5, a5, and attacking. Basically, b5 is our plan to attack the bishop. d4 and then b5, and we are attacking this. The bishop can be activated coming here, so we need to do something. We play x6, and now the bishop cannot come here. So this is white's turn once again. It is thinking. We go with castling. So we can go with, okay, over here we'll first take the knight to e7, and then we can play something like e5 and attack the center. White's turn, and white go with bishop f4. So we'll take the knight to x5 and attack the bishop. Ultimately, we are opening up the bishop, knight to support this center. First, we can go with e5. Now, let's see what he responds. So, in this position, first of all, hi Anand, welcome to my channel. Over here, we go with e5. Attacking the center is our priority. Now, let's see what he responds. He captures it, so we also capture it back from the knight so that we can activate our bishop. And now we are attacking this bishop. Let's see what he responds. Okay. So white is now thinking for the move where he captures. So over here we can capture it back from the bishop. Now we play bishop takes e5. White's turn, and white can also capture back from the bishop. And then we have taken the control of the center. We can play bishop and just focus on our development in order to win. Okay, so now 8 minutes and 20 seconds for white, and he go with queen d2, where we respond with b4. Now we are attacking this knight. He can take the knight back. Okay, so we go with knight to e2, where we'll go with c5, preparing to place c4. Bishop cannot take it because the queen will be gone. So he captures the x6 pawn. Alright, now x6 pawn is gone. Over here we play the bishop to e6. You can try aggressive like g4. So playing g4 can be a possible response. We'll play bishop to e6. The main intention was to play c4 and trap this bishop. Now he can go with c3 or b4, c3 or b3, any of them. If he tries b3, this means he will not allow this. And if he tries c3, then he will attack this and take the bishop back. So that will be his plan. Now let's see what he responds. This is white's turn, having 7 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock. Let's see what he responds over here. He is thinking for the move. Well, in this position, b3 is the best move in my case. Otherwise, if he tries to attack towards my king, then he can try g4. Because g4 will be attacking my knight. This means after g4, I will be forced to take the knight back. Because after g4, if I push this, then he can capture the knight and make my position more vulnerable. So let's see what he responds. 6 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, and now white is thinking. Maybe white is going to face time pressure in future. Anyways, let's see how white responds. In this position, he goes c3. Then over here we can capture this bishop, right? So queen take d3. The rook comes here, where we can go with the queen, take on the pawn. Now let's see what the response. We go with c take b4, where we'll respond with pawn take it back. Now why we take from the pawn? So that the knight cannot come here. Although the knight can come, knight comes to g3. So over here we'll respond with queen to f4, and now I'll play a queen trade. Queen trade is forced, so we can capture back from the pawn, attack this knight. He can, okay, he go with knight to e4, knight e4, and over here we'll go with bishop to f5 and attack this knight. We can try this. Okay, f3. Here was a very nice threat. g4 in trapping these pieces. Misses that. So we'll just capture the knight, and after he captures back from the rook, we go with f5 and attack this rook. He go with rook take b4. We just play rook to b8 and attack this pawn. Now this is white's turn and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds. N%. N% is not possible over here. Anyways, over here rook take b8 and now we are attacking this pawn. So he can play rook here and just secure this pawn. Otherwise the pawn will be out. Anyways, so this is white's turn and now white is thinking for the move. He can try to attack our pawn by playing rook over here and attacking this pawn. So playing rook to d7, okay, go with rook d2, where we respond with a6, making a perfect way. Okay, go with king f1, and then we go with the knight g3 check. Now we are controlling the square. This means we are not allowing the king to come forward. So king e1, and over here we go with the check, rook e8, king goes there, over here. So if king comes to f2, alright, king comes to d1, and over here we go with rook to e6 and secure our pieces. Now we just have to expand the king forward. We go with king c2, then we respond with king f7. So this was the response. b4, knight comes to e2. Now this is white's turn, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see what he responds. You go with a4. Then over here, a4 was the response. Okay. So we can try giving checks, and after check, he can go with this. Okay. So we can look for another one. Yeah, we go with rook e3, trying to attack like this. We can take the knight here and attack this pawn. That will be best. Okay. So this is white's turn, and now white is thinking for the move. He can once begin with b5. So b5, okay, b5, we can capture it. We'll capture it back, and then we can, if we begin with this, then he can play the king there, and that will become a trouble. So we'll go with knight to c3 and attack this pawn, defended by the rook. Now let's see what white responds over here. So this is white's turn, and white is having 4 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. We'll choose to take, okay, so over here, knight comes here, we push, knight comes here, we push, and then I go with rook here. If I take knight here, we push it forward. Okay, so we'll take the knight to a4, allowing this to be pushed further, because this pawn is under attack. That's why. So this is white's turn, and now this pawn is under attack, so he must move it forward or just play the rook here. Okay, b7. Then we go with rook to e8 and secure this. And now let's see what he responds. This pawn cannot be pushed further, and also we can play the knight to c5 and attack the pawn with that. Okay, so this is white's turn. He can try something like rook to d7, trying to get a check, finding out the way. If we try the rook d7, then we can play king to e6 and attack the rook at the same time. Okay. So now 3 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock for white. Now white is having time, more time. So time pressure is going to increase. Let's see what he responds. So this is white's turn, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds over here. Okay, so now he is thinking for the move. He go with rook to d4. So over here, we'll just begin with our original plan, knight c5 in attacking this pawn. And then if we try any move, like rook here or here, then we can capture this pawn. Oh, yeah, we can capture it. If we try to check, then rook can come here. So we go with rook take f4, and then we go with the check, winning this pawn. Now this is white's turn. White is thinking for the move, where he go with king d3. So we can capture this pawn, and then rook g3 and attacking these two pawns will be our plan. So now this is white's turn, and white is thinking for the response over here. Let's see how he responds. In the meantime, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, then do like the live stream. We go with knight to c5 check, trying to find out the winning continuation. King e3, take the knight back, and then this is white's turn. Let's see how white responds over here. Okay, so we can play g5 in attacking the rook. We go with rook a4. Then we can go with rook g3, and he go with x4. So over here, rook comes to x3 and attack this pawn, and then we can anytime push the pawn forward. So king f2, we just push the pawn forward, f4, supported by the knight, controlling this. This means we are going to capture this pawn in the next move. Okay, so white's turn. Now white is having 2 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock and is thinking for the response. Let's see how he responds over here. Okay, so rook a7 check, king comes to f6, rook a6, and then capture this pawn. So white assigns the game. Okay. If you want, you can also challenge me. All the challenges are allowed. Okay, so we'll begin with another game. We'll go with positional by d4 and then c4, the queen's gambit. Queen's gambit is very aggressive opening that you can try. So we'll go with the knight to c3 and black's turn, thinking for the move, knight to f6. We'll take the knight f3. Okay, so black's turn. Black is now thinking for the move. We go with knight d7. Then over here, playing c5 is a move. So we go with c5. If he tries this, then push the pawn forward. Right? We go with c6, and now we have closed the game. So we go with the bishop to f4, controlling this diagonal. Thus, we can say that we are leading this game. You can go with bishop e7 and just castle, because king safety is very okay. Knight f5, attacking this. So we'll go with bishop g5 and attack this. If we play this, then the knight will be trapped. So we go with bishop e7. Okay, now bishop e7, where we can go with capturing the. So we just capture the bishop, and this is black's turn. He captured it back on the queen. Then we can go with g4 and attack this knight. The knight comes here. Okay, knight takes 6. We go with g5 and attack this knight. Now this is black's turn. We go with knight e4, trying to attack this pawn. First we go with x4 and just secure it. Now we have 2 pawns in attacking towards this territory. This means if we castles, then it is going to be easy for us to attack. Now our main plan is we go with capturing it. Then we will also capture back, and then e5. So e5 is a very nice move. Over here, we'll take the bishop to x3 and just trying to attack this knight. Now this is black's turn, and black is now thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds. Black is having 8 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock and is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds over here. e4 was the response. So over here, we capture this knight, getting check. So he captured from the bishop, and then knight to e5 is a way to attack towards the bishop. Now let's see what it responds. Okay, so the bishop is under attack, and we are going to capture this bishop in the next move if it tries something like f6, trying to attack the knight. Okay, so black's turn. Let's see how black responds over here. Black is having 8 minutes and 43 seconds. 8 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock remaining. Okay, so black's turn, and black is thinking for the move. We go with long castling. Long castling. Then we can take the queen. Okay, so over here, queen comes to a4, attack this. We play the king to b8, and then we'll go with rook to b1. Now let's see what he responds. Our main plan, the knight capturing this pawn, and that's an easy win. Now the rook is like this, so black resents the king. Okay. We'll look for another game, and this time we are playing as white. So over here we'll go with uh, e4, the king's pawn opening against Sicilian defense, where we take the knight f3 and then knight c3, kind of close Sicilian defense. Over here, in this position, playing d4 is a move. Okay, but we'll continue with bishop to e2. We'll play bishop b5, creating a pin, bishop d7, and then castling is the response. Knight f6, we play x3, not allowing this. Now we'll continue with d4, and d4 we are attacking the center, where if he takes it, then just capture back from the knight. Okay, so 9 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock. He captured it, and we'll also capture it back. If black will capture it, then first of all, capture the bishop. Okay, bishop g7, where we respond with bishop e3 and secure our pieces. Preparing for queen d2, creating rook connection. Okay, so a6, we'll take the bishop back to c4 and attack this diagonal. He'll decide to castle, and then queen comes to d2. Now let's see what he responds. Okay, so this is black's turn. If black tries to play queen b6, then that will not work because we can take knight here. Okay, so playing queen out, trying to attack this way is not possible. This means he can take the knight there and then try attacking. So knight h5 in the bishop will be attacking this way. Is possible. Okay. Anyways, now this is black's turn. Black can even go with d4, e5. So e5 will be attacking the knight, that's why. Anyways, black's turn, and black is thinking for the move. Let's see how black responds over here. Okay, so black is thinking for the move, having 8 minutes and 28 seconds on the clock. Let's see how he responds over here. He can easily go with this, trying to attack the knight. And once he tries to attack the knight, we can just take the knight back. No, if we try this, then we can capture the knight. Yeah, that will be better. Okay. So he go with knight e5, attacking the bishop. That's the main plan. So knight e5 attacking the bishop. Where hi Martian, welcome to my channel. We'll take the bishop to b3, preparing for f4, attacking the knight. This means he must take the knight back. Okay. Rook c8, then we just play f4 and kick the knight back. Now the knight is forced to go there. Okay, knight c4, then easily we can capture it. We capture it from the rook. Then in this position, we'll continue with the b3. attacking the rook. Now this is black's turn. His rook is under attack, so he must secure the rook by taking it back. And then we go with e5, attacking this knight. Now if we capture, we'll capture back from the pawn and attack the knight. Okay, so this is black's turn. Now black capture it, but we also capture back and attack the knight. Ultimately, he go with knight to e8. So knight e8 was the response, where we take the knight. Okay, in this position, this pawn is under attack. So we need to secure this knight on the pawn. We can take the bishop there, but if we take it, then queen will capture and then our knight will be gone. So over here, if I push this and he capture from the bishop, we capture it. Alright. We just have to secure this pawn. So we just take the bishop to f4 and secure the pawn. Now black's turn, and black is thinking for the move. 7 minutes and 20 seconds for black, and black is thinking. Now let's see how black responds over here. Okay, so anytime we just play this rook over here and secure this, and then play the bishop there. Now if we play the rook here, then we can push the pawn forward, and that will be an amazing attack. But the problem is this bishop attacking our knight. Okay, so now let's see what the response. Queen a5. Queen a5 attacking the knight is the response. So over here, what we can do is we have to secure this knight. This means we will take this knight back to e2 and secure this. The queen is attacking the bishop. So bishop b5 and just capture the bishop. We capture this queen. Then we'll capture this. And then capture the knight. Okay. So over here we have to secure this pawn. And at the same time this pawn. This means easily we can go with bishop to c3 and secure this. Now let's see what the response over here. We need to add a supporter to this pawn immediately. So black go with knight c7 and then come rook to d1. Now let's see what the response. Knight e6. And then wait. Oh my goodness. So over here we go with rook to d7 and attack these two pawns. Now these two pawns are under attack. Where if we try any move, then we can capture any of the pawns. Alright, so he go with b6 and then we just eliminate the pawn. Furthermore, this is black's turn and black is thinking. Let's see how he responds. Over here, we can play the rook here and attack. He go with knight c5. And that's an opportunity for us to take the bishop back to b2. He take the knight here. Now just secure this pawn. So what we can do to secure this pawn. Okay, we'll go with rook to c1 and secure this pawn. And anytime we can just push this pawn forward. Anyways, now this is black's turn. He go with bishop x6. So bishop x6 attacking the rook. Furthermore, we take the bishop to b1 and secure this. We capture it. We'll take the knight. Knight a4 attacking the rook. So he take the rook to c5, where we just push the pawn forward, e6. If he capture, knight capture back and create a poke, which will make black to resign again. Our main motive is to capture this pawn. For now, we go with bishop e3 check. Then we go with king to x2. He capture, bishop capture back. as an easy response. So he captured it, and then bishop also captured back, attacking the rook. So rook comes to d5, where we capture this pawn, and after we capture this, we eliminate this pawn. Okay. So black's turn. Now black is thinking for the move. He go with king g7. So king g7, and he pockets the knight. Okay. Now he resigns. Alright. So we look for another game, and this time we are playing as black. So e3, and we respond with c5, d3, d5, and then e5, taking full control of the center with knight to f6, along with bishop to e7, preparing to castle. Bishop comes to f3. We take the castling, preparing for king safety. Knight e2, and then we go with pushing d4. He play e4. Now e4 is blocking the bishop diagonal. There was no point of playing that. Knight c6. He play a3. We go with a5, like not like this. Our bishop is already developed. So over here we go with x6. And now white's turn. White is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds. b3. So b3 was the response over here, where we go with uh, bishop to d6, securing these two pawns. Knight x5 was the response. Easily we can capture this, but over here we will not capture. So we'll go with bishop to e6, focusing on our bishop development. Okay, you go with a4. Now a4 will play the knight to b4, because knight b4 will be attacking this pawn. He takes this, we'll capture it back from the queen, and then king comes to x1. So king x1, where we respond with bishop to d7, so that we can try b5. We play rook to e1. Ultimately, we try to play b5. He captured it, we will capture it back. Now let's see what the response. So knight goes back to f1. Over here, what we can do is we can play queen to g6. Now let's see what the response. We go with knight g3. Okay. Alright, so knight g3 was the response, where we can respond with bishop to d7, taking the bishop back, where the bishop overhead trying to attack this. So over here we go with rook to e8 and secure this. Now we go with knight over here. Okay. So we cannot capture it, because if we capture, bishop will be attacking the rook. Alright. So this means we'll go with rook to a7 and secure it. Now over here he go with knight take d6. We'll capture it, and let's see what he responds. He go with bishop. So over here bishop comes to g4. So in this position we can capture the bishop, right? If queen will capture, then this pawn is gone. And now we are creating a fork and take the rook. Alright. So white captured it back, where we have to attack this pawn. So we'll take the queen, b6. If you want to challenge me, just send me challenge. That's all you have to do. So queen goes to d1. We'll take the rook here, like trying to attack this way. Now let's see what he responds. White's turn, and white is thinking for the move. Over here, h3 was the response over here. So in this position, we can capture this pawn. Where if it tries to capture this, then we can capture this pawn. So rook take queen take b3. Rook takes it back and attack this pawn. He capture it. We'll capture it back. Bishop captures it and then capture the pawn. So bishop comes to b6. We go with c4, securing our pawn, and he resigns the game. Okay. So now we continue with another game where we are going to play knight f3. The red opening on the board. b6. Then we play d4. Okay, now we can continue with knight over here, securing our pieces. Where we respond with g3. Bishop comes to g2, and then we continue with c3, defending our pawn. We are basically going to plan for e4 and attacking the center, and then we go with e5. The bishop diagonal is already blocked. Queen e7, and then we decide to castle because king safety is very important. So f6, where what we can do is we can easily capture the pawn, but only 15-20. Alright, so bishop take f6. In this position, we can continue with rook to e8, rook e1, and then long castling. So over here we go with queen to e2 and attack towards this pawn. Now this pawn is under attack. So black is thinking for the move, having 9 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. He can try rook to d6 in defending rook e8 and defending this pawn. Bishop comes to x3 and attack this. So this time the knight can also go back and join the party. Okay, knight e8. So knight e8 was the response, where we can take this knight back for bishop development. x5, and over here he's planned for x4. That's this plan. So we can go with bishop back to g2. He played g5. Then we can take the knight. Knight comes to e5. If we take, then we can capture with the bishop attacking like this. So now this is black's turn, and black is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds over here. In the meantime, guys, if you want to challenge me, just send me challenges. That's all you have to do. And if you want to play against me, you can send me challenges. Knight f7, securing it. So we can, oh my goodness. Okay, so capture it. Rook will capture, and then bishop to x3, but he can play this. Alright, so over here, we resign this one. Okay, so now we look for another game, and this time we are playing as black. d4, knight f6, c4, g6. The king's Indian defense with bishop g7 preparing to castle. So d6, and then castling. Knight c3, where we take the knight to, okay. We play c5, capturing the pawn, and after white captures, we take the knight c6. We go with bishop e3, then we respond with d5, and after he captures, knight captures it back in attacking the bishop. So the knight captures it, queen captures it back. Now the knight, bishop, and queen are attacking this pawn. We can even take the rook here and just attack. Okay. So he go with b3. Now over here, if we capture, capture. So rook comes to d8, and we are attacking this pawn. We go with bishop c4. Then we take the queen back to d6, securing our queen. Once again, attacking this pawn with 4 pieces. These 4 pieces attacking this pawn. Okay. So black is trying to attack towards this pawn. Well, easily what we can do is, his main plan can be to play knight here and attacking this way. Anyways. So white's turn and white is thinking for the move. Now let's see what he responds. So 9 minutes on the clock remaining. We go with knight g5. Knight g5 was the response. Over here, he is once again attacking this way. So what we can do is, we can play e6 and just cut this diagonal. Now let's see what he responds. Okay, so this is white's turn. Now we are attacking this pawn with 4 pieces once again. The bishop is no longer going to be developed, so we need to play b6 and bring the bishop out. Rook comes here. We begin with capturing the pawn, where this is white's turn, thinking whether it must capture or not. So he captures it. We'll capture it back from the bishop. Now he takes the queen f3, where we go with f5. We cannot capture because of the bishop here, so we just secure our position with this. Queen comes to x3, then we go with x5, and now our position is completely safe. So rook comes to d1. So over here we can take the queen back to e7, attack the knight. The rook is supporting the bishop, so he can take the knight back as a possible move. Okay. If you want to chat with me, then do chat in English. I cannot understand other languages. Knight f3 in attacking the bishop. So over here, the bishop goes to b2 and attack this. Now let's see what he responds. He takes the rook c2. Okay, rook take d1 check. The bishop goes there. Ultimately, we just secure our bishop back to f6. Now white to play, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds on here. He's saying 7 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock. Our plan is simple. We have to play. Okay. So queen g3 attacking the pawn. King comes to f7 and secure it. We play rook c7, then we take the rook to d7. Now if we capture, queen capture back, and that's the basic plan over here. So let's see what he responds. 7 minutes and 18 seconds, and after he captures, we capture from the bishop so that we can open our bishop. Now let's see what he responds. The rook will be open. So he plays bishop e5 check. We'll capture it. Queen captures it back, and then comes rook to c8. Now this is white's turn. Let's see how white responds over here. In the meantime, guys, if you enjoyed the stream, then do like the live stream. And if you want to challenge me, you can send me challenges. So we look for another game, where this time we are playing as white. We'll play d4. Black plays d5, c4. He captures it. Okay. So over here we play e3, opening up the bishop. You go with e5. Alright. We just capture the pawn. And this is black's turn. We capture it. We can capture it back. Now this is black's turn. He is going to develop his pieces like the knight. So knight f6. We play bishop g5. Now both our pieces are developed. We'll play knight f3, and after castling, we'll take the knight to c3. Ultimately, this is black's turn. Let's see how black responds. So bishop e6, where we capture it, and then queen comes to b3. And now this is black to play. Let's see how black responds. In the meantime, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, then do like the live stream. And if you want to challenge me, you can send me the challenges. Okay. So these two pawns are under attack. An easy way to defend them is queen c8. Alright? So queen c8 can be the response. Now black is thinking for the move. He takes the knight to c7. Then we just capture it because it is getting checked. And we can even push the pawn towards the center. So that's an advantage. Where we first of all castle, because king safety is very important, and that's something we were not having. So we have secured our king, and now 8 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, and black is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds. Bishop d6 was the response. So here, where we go with, okay, now he can play the rook here and attack the queen, and that's his plan. So over here we can continue with knight to e4, attacking like this. We play rook e8, where we take the queen to f5. Now he can capture like this. So he captured this, where we capture it. Knight captures, we capture this, and the position is neutral. Okay. So the position is neutral, where we continue with rook to e1 and attack the knight, where the knight can go back. Knight goes back, we'll take the knight e5. Now this is black's turn. If black capture, pawn capture back. Okay, 8 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock. King g8, where we respond with, okay. So we go with f4. If we capture, pawn capture like this. And we just establish full control of the center. Now black's turn. And black is thinking for the move. Let's see how black responds over here. We play the bishop attacking this. Then in this position, we go with knight capturing the knight. He captured the bishop. Then we capture and give a check. Okay, now he's thinking. He captured, then we can also capture it. Ultimately, he can capture our pawn, and that will be a mistake. Okay, so this means we just captured that knight, and that was a mistake. Alright, so black can capture it. Black captures it, and then we play rook take on it. We capture this pawn. We can go with so we'll go with g3, secure this. He go with rook d7. Then we go with rook e6, attack the pawn. King comes to f7. Rook goes to e2 and secure these pieces. Once again, there is equal number of pawns, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So equal number of pawns. We'll take the rook c2, attack this. Now 7 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock, and black is thinking for the move. He play b6. King comes to f2. Now we have to be very sure about this endgame for all the moves we are going to play. a3, a3, and then we go with king e3. b4, we cannot capture. The rook is attacking this way. So if we capture like this, trying to push forward, c4, king comes to d4. If he tries and check, so you go with king e6. Now over here we go with g4 so that we can try this check. If he tries rook over here, then king can come and attack these pawns. Now black's turn. Let's see how black responds. King d6. What's the response? Where we go with f5. Ultimately black's turn. So let's see how black responds over here. We can king e7. What's the response over here? Where we go with rook check, rook e2. King comes here, then we can try this check to attack this pawn. King comes to f7, and now we'll take the king. Okay, king comes to c3. He can play the rook here and give a check like this, which is a possible move. Okay, so king g7. We'll take the rook e6. We can play rook b6 and attack this pawn. So this is black's turn, and black go with rook b7, and where we go with x4. x4, now we just going to expand the pawn's power. x5. This pawn is defending the rook, so we don't need to worry about it. King g7. We push it, he'll capture, we'll take it. King comes here and attack this. So we go with king comes to d4. He can play rook here and just support the pawn to be pushed further. We go with x6. Then we can go with king to c5. How can I remember all the moves before? Well, that's all about experience. The more experienced you are, you can understand more and more. King c6, attacking the rook. The rook may go back to b8. King comes to c7, and now rook comes here. So black's turn. Black go with rook a8. We go with king to b6. He tries this, then we can capture it. So he can go with rook b8 check. King comes to c7. And he go with rook a8. King c6. If he tries to check, king can come there. Alright. Our main plan is to capture this pawn and then make our pawn to be pushed further. That's the plan. So this is black's turn, having 5 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock. Rook b8 was the response over here, where we respond with rook d6, trying to give a check like this. We just need to trade the rooks. Okay, go with c3. So c3, we go with the check. King goes back. Rook d1. Now this pawn is weak. We can try for the checks where we can capture if we trade. Okay, so rook c1, and now this pawn is going to be captured. Okay, so black's turn. We go with this king d7. We go with king b6, b5. All right, then king b7 and attack this rook. So we go with b6. King a8. b7. One step from promoting. So rook can come here, and we have to capture that pawn. We go with the check. King comes to b8. All right. So we go with king c8, preparing for promoting it to queen. Rook b3. Capture it, give a check. He captured it back, promote to a queen. Okay, capture. and capture this pawn, king g7, and now we are going to win the game. Hmm. Okay, so black's turn, king g4, we just bring the king. No, that would be stalemate. No. King g6, he can push the pawn forward. Okay, so 4 minutes on the clock remaining. We are controlling the squares, forcing black to give up the pawn. The king can come here, and then we go with king f5. Always, so black resigns the game, and we continue with another game. This time we are playing as black. So white's turn, having 9 minutes and 58 seconds on the clock. e4, where we go with uh, c6, the Caro-Kann defense. Now this is black's turn, and he's thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds. d4, we just play d5 and attack. e5, c5 attack this. So he goes c3. Knight comes out to c6, and over here e6 in supporting the pawn. And then we can play the queen to b6. Now this is white's turn. White is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds. So he responds with queen c2. We just push the pawn c4. Let's see what he responds. Knight comes to d2. We play knight g7. And then take the knight to f5, attacking this bishop. And then we just capture this bishop. Alright. So white captured back, making it a weak pawn. Where we play bishop e7. If we try knight over here, alright. So b3 was the response, where we just capture it, and after white capture it back from the knight. So now these 2 pawns are weak. Over here, we just castle, maintain the king safety. Now let's see how white responds over here. White's turn, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds. In the meantime, guys, if you want, you can also challenge me. All the challenges are allowed. King x1 and then x6, not allowing the knight to come here. Rook b1, where we just take the queen back to c7. Now let's see how white responds. So he go with bishop d3. Then over here, we go with bishop to d7. We go with e4. We capture it. Bishop captures it back. And over here, rook comes to c8, supporting the queen. Now let's see what he responds. 8 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds over here. Okay, so white is thinking. What we can do is the knight coming over here. If we capture the queen, can capture the queen. Okay. So this is white's turn, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds over here. Hmm. Hello Atish Mittal, welcome to my channel. Queen comes to d3. We'll take the rook to. Okay. So a6. Hi Williams, welcome to my channel. Rook to c1, that's not a very good move. Bishop a3 and attack the rook. Now this rook is under attack, where he can just take the rook anywhere. And ultimately we can take our knight. We have to activate this bishop. And that's our priority. Okay. We begin with knight a5. We capture it. Then we capture it back. The bishop can come here trying to attack the queen and the bishop. That's the main plan. That's why we play knight a5. Okay. So white's turn and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds. We go with knight take a5. Queen captures it. Where he captured this. Then we go with rook c7. Attack the bishop. I'm playing on chess.com. So the bishop under attack. Now let's see what he responds. He can go with bishop capturing the pawn. So bishop captures it and then we go with rook to a8 and attack the bishop. Ultimately, he can take the bishop back in order to defend it. Otherwise, the bishop is gone. Okay, so now he is thinking. We go with this. We'll take the bishop a4 and attack the rook. Now let's see what he responds. We go with bishop b3. Then over here, bishop comes to b5. He pushed the pawn forward. And that's possible. Okay, c4. We take the bishop back to c6. Now if we play d5, we capture, and then bishop can go. Okay. So white's turn. Now white is thinking for the move, having 6 minutes and 36 seconds on the clock. Let's see how he responds over here. Rook comes to c2. Okay. So we'll go with doubling up of rooks. My rook d8 so that he cannot try this. Now let's see what he responds. If we try this, then bishop can come and attack this way. Okay. So this is white's turn. Now white is thinking, having 6 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. Let's see how he responds over here. In the meantime, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, then do like the live stream. So queen d2, bishop goes back to c5. Okay, so we design this game. Alright, so now we look for another game. Yes, so just on heart, if you want to play against me, you just send me the challenge. Okay, so d4, d5, knight f, c4, e6, knight comes to c3. Over here we go with capturing this pawn. Black captures. Bishop comes out to f4 with the knight. Alright. So 9 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. a6. We play knight f3. Preparing to play e3. Your name is too long. The King's of Chess official. That's my name. ID. Okay. So castling was the response. We capture the pawn and attack towards this. Now we are just giving a shocking response to black. He go with knight bd7. We prepare to take this. He captured it, bishop captures it back, and after the queen captures, we go with e4. Preparing to play e5 and trapping these pieces. Okay. So this is 9 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock, and black is thinking for the move. And guys, if you are enjoying the stream, then do like the live stream. So black is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds. He can try to play the bishop. Then we will be forced to take the knight back. Okay. So bishop g4. Knight watching a lot of attacks. Bishop coming here, giving check. So over here, bishop to e2. If we try this, then play the king. Okay. So now this is black's turn. Bishop e4 check. King comes to f1. We cannot take the knight there because the queen can capture the pawn. So king f1. and then we are going to prepare for this. Okay, so this is black's turn, and black is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds to here. Hmm. So black is thinking, having 8 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock. Let's see how he responds to here. Hmm. We are going to play a3 so that we have to kick this bishop back. So 8 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock. And now he is thinking for the move. We go with rook to d8. We play e5 and attack the queen. The queen comes to f4 and then g3. Now the queen can go back. Otherwise, okay, queen comes to e4. So in this position, bishop. Rook comes to g1. Like we can secure this rook. Bishop x3 check, and we have to give up the rook. So we capture it back. Now let's see what black responds. We are a minor piece down. So the queen is under attack. Queen is creating a pin. We can play the bishop here and attack the queen. So c5, we take the bishop d3 and attack the queen. Now the queen can go back. And then we can take the knight here and attack like this. Do you play bullet? Yes, I can play bullet also. Queen d5, knight goes. Oh my goodness, that's not possible because the queen is creating a pin. So we go with a3. The bishop has to go back. Okay, so maybe it does not take the bishop back and play something else. Alright, bishop a5. Now in this position, queen comes to c2. Let's see what it responds. Black's turn, and black is thinking for the move. 6 minutes and 54 seconds on the clock. And black is thinking. C take d4, capture it, give a check. King comes to h8. Bishop comes to e4, attacking this pawn with the queen. Also, we can activate the knight. Okay. So this is black's turn. Let's see how black responds. Hmm. So black's turn, and black is busy thinking for the move, having 6 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Let's see how he responds over here. 6 minutes and 20 seconds, and black is thinking. Queen b5. Queen b5 was the response, where we take the knight. Okay. Rook comes to d1 so that we can stop to push this pawn forward, because this pawn is going to be pushed further. So if he tries this, then bishop can capture it back and attack the queen. Anyways, 6 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock, and black is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds over here. Over here, we are going to play the knight to g5. Rook comes here attacking the queen. Then we take the queen. Over here, we take the queen back to b1. Now let's see what the response over here. 5 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, and black is thinking. Let's see how he responds. In this position, the knight is going to capture the pawn, which is going to attack the queen. Okay, 5 minutes and 25 seconds only for black. Rook comes here, capture this, attack the queen. So now black's turn. Let's see what black plays over here. So black go with queen take e5. Over here, if we take the knight behind, then rook can capture it. and that will be a trouble. So we have to secure this knight also. Okay. So we continue with f4 and attack the queen. Now this queen is under attack. Let's see how black responds here. Black's turn, having 5 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock. He go with queen x5. Bishop goes behind, attack the queen. Now let's see what he responds. So this queen is under attack. He needs to secure the queen. So queen comes to c5. And then comes b4. And now we are attacking the bishop, the queen. Queen cannot capture the knight because the queen will be gone. So queen will go back. And then, so 4 minutes and 28 seconds on the clock. He captured the bishop. And that's a very big intelligence. So a takes b4 and attack this. Now black's turn. Black take the queen back as usual. Okay, so queen goes to c3. We'll take the we'll take this knight is under attack. So we need to secure it, right? Over here, I am thinking for the response. Rook coming here. So rook d3, attack the queen. Now this is black's turn once again. And black is thinking for the move. Otherwise, if he will not think, then he will lose the game. So he can take the queen behind in order to secure this. Alright. Queen yuan high. Okay, so black resigns the game. And any challenges? If you want, you can send any challenges now. All the challenges are allowed. Okay. So new challenges. Okay, now we are playing as black, where we respond with the Scandinavian defense. We capture it. Queen captures it back, where this is white's turn. d4. We'll take the knight f6. And 9 minutes and 54 seconds on the clock. We'll take the queen back to d8, where this is white's turn. And white always thinks for the move. We'll take the bishop g4. x3, capture this. And after he captures, trying to attack this pawn. Okay, capture from the pawn. So we just take the knight to c6, open the knight, attacking the pawn. If he tries to push it further, knight comes to e5 and attack this pawn with this pawn also. So let's see what the white responds. White goes with f4, trying to attack our knight. Where we take the knight, we take the knight g6 and attack this pawn. If he tries to be over smart and attack like this, then take the knight back to e5 and take the control of the center. So f4, wow. Now f4 is fully trapping the knight. Knight comes to d7, and the king is completely open, and our king is very close. Okay, so this is first turn. This is move number 11, and we have done nothing irrespective of moving our knights. So we'll continue with rook to b8 because I know he is going to push the pawn forward like this. So we play rook b8 and secure it. Knight c3, and we take the knight to Okay, so white's turn. If white plays this, we'll take the knight back. Now he'll push this forward. Okay, so maybe he does not push this. So this is white's turn, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds. A3, and over here we respond with queen to d7, attacking this pawn. Now there are a lot of weak pawns that I can see. 3, 4, 5. There are 5 weak pawns. And now this is the problem of pin. I cannot capture it. Okay, no problem. Where in this position we go with g6. Like we will not capture it. It's white's turn. White capture it, then we capture back from the knight, activating the bishop. So we capture the free pawn. We capture our free pawn. Okay, b5, then knight goes to c5. Now this is white's turn. Let's see how white responds over here. White having 7 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock is thinking for the move. He captured it, making us capture the bishop. Now this is move number 20, and we haven't castled. So bishop g7, kicking the knight. The knight goes anywhere. That's his choice. Knight goes to e2. We play knight b3 check, and over here he go with king b1. We cannot castle because this file is open. So over here we go with a6, attacking it. If you capture, rook will be open. That's why. So white go with king c2. Quite concerned to attack our pieces. We'll take the knight a5 and attack this pawn. So he can go with king over here. A4, capture this pawn, making this to be a easy win like this. Okay, so knight a3 check, and he decides the game. So any challenges? Okay, so we look for another game. This time we will play as black. E3 will take e5, knight f3, e4, attacking the knight. The knight goes to e5. We'll go with queen to f6. We must not take the queen out early in the opening. d4, d6, attack the knight. The knight goes back or anywhere. Actually, knight can go there only. So knight to c4 is going to be the response. But white is now thinking. Okay, knight c4. We play d5. He'll take the knight back there, thinking. So we go with c5. If we capture, we'll say bye to the knight. So now let's see what the response. Bishop b5 check. We go with bishop d7. If we capture, knight capture, king capture. And that's an easy story. There must be no confusion in that story. Okay, you can capture it. Alright, so now this is white's turn, and finally he captures. Now he captured this pawn so that the queen can attack this pawn. Okay, knight c3. Then over here we can, if we take knight take, and that's going to be okay. So we go with queen. Queen come to e6, securing this pawn, and then we can capture the pawn, focusing for development. Anyways, So 8 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock for white, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how he responds over here. He go with b3, we capture it, and he captured from the pawn. He's gone because of bishop b4. We'll join the rook, the queen to the party, attacking this. So if he tries something like bishop b2, okay, bishop b2, then play rook over here, attack this. He played the queen, then we can play the queen over here. Okay. So now this is white's turn, and white is thinking for the move. My king is completely not safe, that you can see, because the king is flying over here instead of flying over here. So 8 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock, and he's thinking for the move. White is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds over here. So he go with queen d2, where we'll respond with. Now if we play this, then he can remove the knight. No, that's not possible. So queen c6 and attack this. Now let's see what he responds. He has to give up any one of the minor piece in order to win the game. I mean, in order to lose the game. So he castle, just capture, he'll capture, just capture, and after he captures it, or maybe it does not accept it, yeah, queen g5 and capture this pawn. He'll play rook here, trying to attack this way. Okay, so that's going to be a long story. Rook to d1, queen comes to f6. Okay, so he captured from the queen. We'll play king there. We'll play the check. We'll play king behind and secure our position. 7 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock, and white is thinking for the move. Let's see how white responds over here. Queen g4 check. That's good luck. So king comes to c6, securing the pawn. Okay. So this is white's turn, and in my case, so king comes to b6, and this is a completely losing game. So white captures, we play rook to e7, we play the queen giving check, king will go there, and then that's the mate. Okay. So there's just checkmate in 2 moves. Alright, so white is thinking for the mate. So let's see how white responds. If white is able to find out the checkmate or not. If you want, you can also check the challenges. All the challenges are allowed. Yeah. So he knows for the checkmate, and that's the mate. So we resign the game. Okay. So any challenges? If you want to cancel any challenges now. Okay, so I have an amazing position to show. If you want, you can also send me the challenges. All the challenges are allowed. So this is the position. G4, black to play. Now in this position, he is trying to attack this pawn, which is defended by the knight bishop, so no need to worry. take the knight there. Even we can play the bishop there, right? Okay. If bishop will come, he capture, pawn capture, two pawns and can be easily pushed further, right? If we don't, like bishop c4 and if it does not capture, then he plays rook over here, capture, capture. The position will become neutral, and that's something we don't want. We can take the knight there. So in this position, what we can do is, okay, yeah, bishop to g4 is the move. Okay. So any challenges? Okay, so thank you very much for coming to my live stream.